The second triangle we're going to derive is our 45, 45, 90. So we'll start with our angles, 45 degrees. And we have a right triangle. Since our two angles are congruent, that means these two side lengths also have to be congruent, giving us an isosceles triangle. We can pick any lengths for the legs of this triangle. One is going to be the easiest. So both of our legs will have a length of 1. Using our Pythagorean theorem, we can solve for our hypotenuse. Leg 1 squared plus leg 2 squared equals c squared. So our hypotenuse is the square root of 2. So we have legs of 1 and a hypotenuse of the square root of 2. So now we can go ahead and find our 6 trig functions. We can pick either angle for 45 degrees, they're both 45 degrees. Just notice that opposite and adjacent are actually the same values. So sine and cosine will be the same. Opposite over the hypotenuse, we have 1 over root 2. And adjacent over hypotenuse, again, we have 1 over root 2. And when we rationalize both of these, we get square root of 2 over 2. Because our opposite and adjacent are the same, sine and cosine are going to be the same. And tangent and cotangent will also be the same, opposite over adjacent versus adjacent over the opposite. And then secant and cosecant will also be the same as each other, hypotenuse over opposite, hypotenuse over adjacent. Square root of 2 and square root of 2. So we can see there's a lot of similarity between these values. We just did our 45 degrees. You see that sine and cosine are the same. See that tangent and cotangent are the same, as well as secant and cosecant. And if we go back and think about our 30, 60, 90 triangle, 30, 60, 90. We have our 30 across from the 1, the root 3 across from 60, and the 2. For our 30 degrees, our sine was 1/2, but for 60 degrees, our cosine was 1/2. Because these angles are complementary, sine of theta is going to equal cosine of 90 minus theta. Sine, our cosine, was the adjacent side of root 3 over 2, while 60, it was opposite, root 3 over 2. Then for tangent, we get root 3 over 3. But for cosine, cotangent was root 3 over 3. This means that 30 degrees was root 3 for cotangent, while tangent was root 3 for 60. And then we have our secant, where that's going to be the reciprocal to root 3 over 3. But cosecant's the reciprocal of sine for 60, 2 root 3 over 3. And then cosecant was 2, and secant was 2 for 60. So we have only a few different number options for these values of 30, 45, and 60. We're always going to be getting some variation of 1, 1/2, root 3 over 2, root 2 over 2, root 3, root 2, as well as 2 root 3 over 3, and root 3 over 3. So these numbers are all very similar and all very closely related because we form all of these values from the same two triangles. So we're going to be seeing these numbers a lot. Do not, I repeat, do not memorize this chart. This chart is here for reference so we can see how closely related all the values are. What you need to memorize is how to construct the two special right triangles. These two triangles are going to be crucial for your future success.